All right, it's week 7 of the fantasy football season, so that means it's time for us to panic about these guys who totally let us down once again on our rosters. It's time to panic week 7. All right, let's start off across the pond, Jaguars and the Patriots, and maybe everyone's favorite waiver wire pickup this week, a big-time start, Pop Douglas for the Patriots. Oh, Pop Douglas could have a big-time performance, rookie quarterback Drake May. It's going to be awesome, right? Wrong, awful. My tummy hurts. He's complaining about stomach issues. He's sick. Bro, you better be on the floor like dying. They need to drag you off the field out there if you can't play like this. I get it. You're sick. It sucks. But come on, man. We saw guys like Kenneth Walker also had the flu, had a really nice day for us. He only manages 2 catches for 14 yards. And Drake May actually played good. Threw the ball all over the place. Had a few touchdowns out there. It's just a total letdown, man. I mean, he needs to be like in the hospital sick for him not to go out there and play, but that's just, what the Patriots have become, a loser team with a bunch of loser players. And speaking of losers on the Patriots, how about their running backs? 10 carries, 22 yards. Now, I know we haven't gotten to expect much, but we thought Ramondre Stevenson would be a guy this year, or if Antonio Gibson was going to slide in, he would be the next guy. They can't run the football at all. They started off really well, just clogging up rosters and lineups. I don't think I want to hold any of these guys there. Maybe Pop Douglas, he'll feel a little better when he comes back to America, and Drake May can actually get him the ball. Hunter Henry is the only guy that did anything for the Patriots, but this was just pathetic all around. God, I hate owning Patriot players, but that's what we get. They're an awful team. And how about the Texans and the Packers? This was a prime, juicy matchup, and CJ Stroud really hasn't lived up to the hype. He's been kind of up and down roller coaster guy all year. Now, we were a little down on CJ Stroud, but we were expecting more than this. 86 yards passing.
Remain calm. All is well.
What are you doing, my guy? This is a bottom third pass defense in Green Bay. They forced a ton of turnovers, but they give up 1,000,000 yards, and they couldn't move the ball at all. I know there's no Nico Collins, but you still have Tank Dell, you still have Stephon Diggs, you still have Dalton Schultz, and you still have a good running game behind it. And Joe Mixon had himself a day, 20-plus points for him, multiple touchdowns, but you can only throw for 86 yards, CJ. What was wrong with you? He looked confused. He looked flustered. He couldn't get the ball to anybody. Tank Dell, 4 targets, 0. A goose egg in your lineup for Tank Dell. He couldn't do anything. He hit a 28-yard pass early in the game to Dalton Schultz, and that's it. You couldn't get him the ball at all. Stephon Diggs, the only guy that saw any sort of volume in this offense today, but it wasn't really productive, like 5 catches, 23 yards, something like that. This was just a disaster performance for this Texans passing offense. I don't know what we're going to do with them. We have such high hopes for them. You can't go out there and do this against bad passing defenses. And don't come at me, Packer fans. Your passing defense is a bottom third in yards given up. They don't stop anybody. They turn the ball over. That's about it. Pathetic from the Texans. And then let's go to Miami. DJ Mikey Mike at coach. I don't ever want to hear the discussion that Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the league, the #1 guy. Oh my goodness. This has just been a dreadful season for them. I don't care who's at quarterback. If you're an actual dude at wide receiver, you're getting open, you're getting the ball, you're going to find ways to make plays. 1 catch, 8 yards today. I think Jalen Waddle had 1 catch, 11 yards today. I don't care who's at quarterback. This offensive scheme is a joke. Mike McDaniels is a bozo head coach. He's been completely figured out. They can't throw the ball. If it isn't this perfect little motion, perfect timing, everything has to be perfect. That nothing is perfect in the NFL. Why did I even invest? I mean, you drafted Tyreek Hill to be the #1 receiver in the league. You drafted him for that. I'm not going to take this excuse that Tua's not in. Tua's going to be back next week, and I don't think we're going to see much more improvement, honestly. Teams run the ball okay, but it's just there's no creativity in this offense. Nobody can get open. I mean, I'm losing my freaking mind drafting these Dolphin players. You can't rely on any of them. Even A-Chain, he's always hurt. He's always getting banged up. It's just a disaster all around. I mean, Tyreek Hill is a huge letdown. I mean, you should have traded him. Honestly, you should have traded him. I don't think there's any coming back for Tyreek Hill. But now watch, Tua comes back 1 game. Tyreek Hill is going to have an awesome time. But I think there's a ton of problems with this Dolphins offense. I don't want any part of these guys. Maybe Devon A-Chain, because I know they'll stick to the run game and they are kind of effective at running the football. But I don't know how long Tua's going to be back for. I don't know how much of a difference Tua makes. They were dreadful the first 2 weeks on offense until Tua went down. I mean, they were awful against Buffalo. They had 1 80-yard play where Tyreek Hill danced out of a 3-foot square with 3 defenders to score a touchdown against Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the worst passing defense in football this year. So awful, awful performance, awful time with the Dolphins. Okay, how about a team who did play well today and win the game? And the Detroit Lions, David Montgomery, a huge, huge letdown. Now, he did go against one of the top running defenses in football, but he only had 5 points today. He gets injured early in the game, goes out with he goes out with the injury, comes back, and then has a critical fumble at the end of the game, knocking him down to 5 points. He really couldn't get anything going, and it just felt so much crisper with Jahmyr Gibbs in there. He had all the big pop plays. Monty really didn't do anything, it felt like. And this is just a waste. You've come to rely on Monty as your top-tier guy. Now, we can check maybe this matchup just is terrible. Monty is a brute force hammer running back, and you can't be that kind of running back against the Vikings defense. But I'm getting concerned with this Lions offense here. They score a ton of points, but they're not going to any of our guys. Sam LaPorta, you drafted Sam LaPorta as the #1 tight end. People are drafting him in the 3rd round, 4th round. I mean, it's been an awful season for him. 1 catch, 25 yards, 2 targets. That's the problem. The Lions moved the ball really well today against the Vikings. And the Vikings are one of the better defenses in football, but they're not good in the passing game, and they're not good against tight ends. And you're not even looking at him. The game script was perfect. Tons of checkdowns. They avoided big home run plays. You know, Jameson Williams didn't do anything, but you kind of expect that. He's a high volatility guy, and the Vikings made sure they didn't get burned over the top. But you got Khalif Raymond underneath. Where is Sam LaPorta? Where is he? What are they doing with him in this offense? We can't have this week in and week out. I know the tight end position has just been a total train wreck this year, but my God, it's way too inconsistent for an offense that's probably the best in football. This is like the best offense in football, and they've been high-flying, and we can't get any fantasy points for Sam LaPorta. This is just bonkers crazy. And let's go to Philadelphia here. Now, the Eagles win. The Eagles look good, and I know Saquon Barkley's like the hero of this story. They're replaying the Giants. But Devonta Smith, man, what is going on? Jalen Hurts doesn't even look at my guy. 1 catch today on 2 targets, -2 yards. And that game was ugly for a good chunk early. You know, they didn't score in the first quarter again. He just kind of forgets Devonta even exists. Devonta is your money receiver going across the middle, big time 3rd downs. It feels like there's no, continuity with this offense. They're just kind of going out there, throwing plays up against the wall, hoping somebody makes a play. Saquon has a monster day. Okay, we'll just run the Saquon. Oh, let's throw one up to A.J. Brown. There's no flow or rhythm to this team's offense, and it feels like they can't even support all these guys. That's the real concern. We thought this Eagles offense was going to pop this year with all these weapons out there, and we've seen Jalen Hurts have no problem getting the ball to both his receivers, supporting a run game, and just being a really great fantasy offense. But we're not having that. Devonta Smith was supposed to be Mr. Reliable. He's been Mr. Reliable. Maybe his ceiling's a little limited, but he was like an 80-yard-a-week guy, maybe 80 yards and a touchdown most weeks, 75 and a touchdown. And he's none of that this year. It's just all way too fluctuation involved. I don't like it. I want Devonta Smith to be great. I love him as where I drafted him. I thought he was going to be awesome. And it's just a total letdown. It's a letdown week in and week out, and you can't have that kind of volatility in your lineup. It's too much of a risk because, like I said, his ceiling's limited. It's not like the Xavier Worthies or the Jameson Williams that you drafted later and you kind of know what you're getting into here, like we're really touchdown reliant here, big pass plays, 60-yard plays. That wasn't what you drafted Devonta Smith for. You drafted him to be your super consistent flex wide receiver 2 guy, and he just has been anything but that. I don't know what to do with this Eagles team. Maybe they'll figure it out, and next week Devonta has a big game, and then A.J. Brown has no game. I'll be sitting here yelling about the Eagles again next week. And finally, put us out of our misery. Thank you, Lord. Brandon Aiyuk looks like he tore his ACL, done for the season potentially. And this is it just like ended it. Thank you. It was just like a thank you. Thank you for doing this. Week in and week out, Brandon Aiyuk has been a complete letdown. Drafted late in the 2nd round, early 3rd round. He was a lot of people's #2 wide receivers on their team. Some teams #1 wide receivers if you went heavy running back. And after he held out, got his contract, he's been a complete bust this year. Finishing the year, 23 catches, 351 yards, and zero touchdowns for you. He might be the fantasy loser of the season. I mean, maybe Christian McCaffrey if he never comes back. But this was just a total disaster, man. He put up nothing. He looks like a guy. He got paid. He don't want to work hard. He don't care anymore. It sucks that he tore his knee, but it's really a godsend to us fantasy owners because I don't even have to think about Brandon Aiyuk anymore. I can cut him. I can throw him on the IR, or if you're in a dynasty, throw him on your IR. Whatever. Hope he figures it out out, has a bounce back revenge season next year, but I don't have to worry about it. I mean, he's a guy that in your head, you're like, I have to play Brandon Aiyuk every week. I didn't play him this week. I'm ecstatic I didn't play him this week. I'm just glad it's finally over. It's been such a pain in the ass for me to deal with. I don't know why I even believed in it. I have a rule, like, don't go with diva wide receivers. Wide receivers who hang out or hold out and do this with contract stuff, it never goes well. And look, we're paying the price for it, but I'm so glad it's finally over for us. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who are you panicking on? Who was a massive disappointment for you guys this week? I'll be answering all your questions in the comment below. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video, subscribe to the channel. We got daily fantasy content, all the things you guys could possibly need throughout the week. We got must starts, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, tight ends for every single matchup every single week. We got your must target waiver wire guys, your must start defenses, your kicker tier rankings. We got live streams throughout the week answering all your roster questions, potential trades, boom or bust starters. We got it all for you here again. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.